I originally hail from a small town in Tampa Bay area, Florida called Tarpon Springs. It has the highest population of Greek people in America, and that is directly proportional to the population of sponges, the marine animal whose dried out husk is used to wash your body or paint a wall. My grandmother influenced my sister's curatorial sensibilities, her love of objects and detail into the love of objects. Whereas in me, my grandmother really inspired and fostered the thoughts of going into a lab and doing experiments and fostering the sort of mental and manual dexterity it would take to do that. My grandmother had a lifelong dream to be a scientist, and that was never realized. And perhaps it is that fact alone that really inspired me to go into the field. She certainly is delighted and almost, baffled and greatly excited that I have chosen that path. I think that has been a trade-off. As I kind of lived through her telling of her story, I'm hoping that now she can live vicariously through what I do on a daily basis, actually the manifestation of her dreams. To put it bluntly, I needed to find a lab to work in somewhere in Maine. And it's not like there was a needle in the haystack and Jackson Lab was the only one, but that was the one that aligned most with my interests. And it wasn't a complete walk in the park. I did receive some formal research training during my undergraduate career, so I actually had the skill set to be able to work in a biological genetic research lab. So coincidentally, it ended up really working out well that the Jackson Laboratory was the perfect place for me to go and receive this sort of further training. I had a previous knowledge of what the Jackson Lab specializes in, which is mammalian genetics, and that was the next step I wanted to take in my training of genetics and techniques, experimental techniques. I'm bastardizing this process and how the technicalities of how these things work. But the end process of being able to decipher and isolate different populations of cells from one huge mass of many different cell types is endlessly inspiring and intriguing and mystifying to me, and I need that source of bewilderment as a continual source of inspiration to do what I do on a daily basis. The internet definitely makes communication with the outside world a lot easier and accessible for me, so I can have a video chat with my twin sister and still feel like I'm a huge part of her life and she's a part of my life, and really creep out a lot of my friends when they see that I'm talking to myself, but it's in another space and time. So although the scientific process can seem and feel at times to be a very independent and rigorous and single person pursuit, it actually is it's a collaborative process itself. Numerous times I enlist the consultation and the help of my colleagues that are both in my lab and those who work in other departments in the institution that I work in.